A majority of the world's websites are hosted on Apache web servers. And I would say the majority of those web servers run Apache in Linux. So what we're going to do is we're going to download and install, and we're going to just go over the very basics of working with Apache web server. If you want to know more about Apache, you can go to their website at apache.org and learn about the Apache Software Foundation and how they maintain and update the Apache web server. Now, Apache is available on Linux and Windows, and it can be installed in Mac OS, it can be installed in Unix, but what we're going to do is it's usually run, mostly it seems, on Linux machines. So we're going to install it here. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'll start off first of all with a sudo apt-get update to update my repositories. All right, so we'll get that going. Okay, that's done. I'm going to type clear here. And now what we're going to do is, now that we've done that, let's install it. So it's very easy to do from the command line. Once again, I'm running a terminal here. Sudo apt-get install Apache 2. All right, we'll do that. And it says, do you want to do this? We'll say Y for yes and hit enter. And now it's going to go through the installation procedure. I might pause the recording and come back when it's finished. Okay, it looks like it's finished. Okay, notice what it says here, starting up the web server Apache 2. And then we get the OK message here. So let's check to see if it worked. Now, first of all, I'm just going to once again type clear here, hit enter. And then let's open up that browser, the web browser. And if our web server is working, we should be able to type in localhost here and see the web server. So we'll type in localhost, and you can see you get the message, it works. This is the default web page for this server. The web server software is running, but no content has been added yet. So that's great. Also, instead of localhost, we could put in 127.0.0.1 and hit enter. And you can see it pulls up the same web page, the web page for this web server. Also, what we could do is, in addition to that, we could see what our IP address is. If config, and you can see our Ethernet 0 IP address right now is 192.168.2.106. So let's try that too. And so we'll put that in here. 192.168.2.106 and hit enter, and you can see it also brings up our web page. So that shows us the three ways that we can view the web page or the web server and our home page right from our own browser. And once again, we're running this web server locally on our computer. Now let's verify a few other things. So another command we can do, and this is good if you're learning networking, is do a netstat command -a, and we'll put a space and then a pipe symbol and then more. So we'll pipe that to more. And we'll see here what we get here. Now these are all of our ports, our active connections, our virtual ports essentially that our computer is listening on. You can see that the computer is listening here for dub, right? And so right here, this is a sign that the computer is running a web server, right? And that it's listening on the www or port 80. Right? And so if we wanted to, we could, let's type Q to quit that. We'll do it again, put in the same command, except this time we'll say -a and then N for numbers and hit enter. And you can see now, instead of dub, it shows us the port 80, which is the port for web server, right? For HTTP, World Wide Web. And you can see that it's listening on every address available. Our web server is listening for requests. Okay, so that's great. So I'm going to hit Q to quit out of that again, type clear. Now let's see if we can examine a little bit closer some of the characteristics now with our web server. So a couple of things. If we want to stop the web server, we'll do a sudo /etc/init.d /Apache 2 and then the stop command. Okay? And that will stop the web server. And you can see here that it's been stopped. We'll do netstat an again, and you can see that port 80 is no longer listed here as listening. All right, Q. Clear. All right, we can also do a stop. We can also do a start, or we could do a restart command. Just have to make sure that after the /root etc init.d Apache 2 you put a space and then type restart, start, or stop. So let's start it up again. All right, we'll hit enter. Notice it says OK here. All right, and we don't have a domain name set, so it's just using 127.0.0.1 for a server name, and we can fix that later. But we get the OK sign here, so our server is running. So let's see if we can put in a web page now. Now the web pages for the server are in this folder. We're going to go over there right now. We're going to go to cd change directory. We'll go to the root directory, into var, into www, and in there we'll do an ls command. This is where our index.html file is going to exist, and this is the file we need to edit if we're going to create a home page. So the home page in Apache web server is by default index.html. You can see we changed directories and went into the www folder, and we found it. So let's edit it and see if we can get that to show up. So I'm going to run a sudo nano index.html. I can just put the relative path to the file since I'm in the www folder. We'll hit enter, and you can see there it is. There's the page, and you can see right off the bat it says it works. This is the default web page for this server, so on and so forth. So I'm going to edit this a little bit more now. I'll put this down here, and I'll add a head tag and an end head tag right here. I'll put a title tag and an end title tag, and then I'll say Dan's homepage between the title and end title tags. Oops, and I forgot an end character right there. All right. Okay, so there's the head with the title, and then there's the body, it works. I'm going to change that to welcome to my web page. Okay, and I'm going to change the text here to this website is under construction, and I'm going to remove the part that says there is no content. Alright, so I've just edited that page a little bit with some basic editing. Alright, that is the basic format of an HTML web page. Very, very streamlined and thinned down without any of the it's not very current, but it will work. So what I'll do is I'll say Control X to save, to exit, and I'll hit, do I want to save the changes? Y for yes, and then the name to write, we want it to keep it index.html, hit enter, and now that's done. And so now we can go back to our web page here. You see there it is, and then we have the right address here, right? Or we could type localhost, right, and hit enter, and you can see that now I've changed the web page, right? Also, I've got a title up here. Notice the title bar says Dan's homepage right up here, right? And that's it. Now you're running Apache web server.